So we'd like to bring the team in. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
So just to get us started, a quick warm-up round to you. It's just after 7 a.m. Your local time, is that right? So thanks for joining us. Yeah, lots of nodding heads. All right. Right. Let's do a quick fire round. Let's go one by one. One question for everyone. So okay, right. What's the first thing you think of when you wake up in the morning?
Coffee.
Eating my cats.
Cats.
Food.
Is that everyone? All right. Bacon, nice. All right. Let's go for another one. Quick one. What is in the trunk of your car right now? Random one.
Dead bodies.
Alexis, for me, I think figure skates are in the back of my car right now. I should probably get them out of there.
Rubber gloves.
What was that, Petra?
Rubber gloves.
Oh, okay. I think I've got an alma mater blanket in my back car, University of Maryland blanket with a terrapin on it, which was our mascot, which is a turtle. Not very intimidating, actually, but that's what I've got.
I went to the garden store and I bought a plant and it tipped over and all the dirt is still in there. I haven't cleaned it up.
Oh, Selena.
So Selena.
Here's a quick one then. If you were a type of jeans, your pair of jeans, what type would you be and why? Petra,
A dress. I don't wear any jeans.
I don't wear jeans either. I have one pair. They're shapely, and they accentuate my best features. There we go. They're Hudson ones.
I would be a skirt. I think they wave very nice in the wind. So no jeans.
Am I the only one here? Am I the only one here that wears jeans? Like all I have right now are jeans and slacks. And I think if I were to be a type of jeans, I'd be like these very light blue skinny jeans because it pairs very nicely with this Microsoft branded hoodie. Oh, you can't really see the logo, but it works.
All right, since we're on the topic of outfits, what's your most outrageous Pride outfit ever?
I can start. So, I don't know if it's the most outrageous, perhaps the most apropos. Last year, I ordered an actual drag dress with like shoulder pads for the gods, darling, up to my ear balls. It was incredible. I had dress. A kid in the parade was actually like, "Are you a clown, lady?" And I was like, "Oh, no," but I get why you see that. So I'm going to put that one as my most outrageous.
Anyone else got an outrageous one?
I don't think anyone can beat this.
Yeah, I wore those. I had rainbow feather wings for 2 years in the parade. A little bit like this background.
Yeah, nice. See, I decided to try and be outrageous today. So I'm glittered up, I'm painted up, and I'm rocking the colours right now.
Has anyone checked
really
these flags and everything? It's amazing.
Looks awesome.
All right. So one last one, I think, or maybe take it to last. If you had to wear a t-shirt, one t-shirt, with one word on it for one entire year, which word would you choose and why?
That's one.
I would have vote.
Vote. Yeah.
Humanity.
Oh, I love that.
It's deep.
Probably empathy for me. Why can't we just have like a giant word board on our t-shirt? Like that counts as one word, right?
And circling each word, depending on how you feel that.
Yeah. Just make an acronym with each word in it, and there I have that single word, and people can ask like, "Hey, what does that mean?" And I'll be like, "Oh, it means vote. It means empathy. It means humanity. All of it in one." Anyways, that's my tangent.
Love it.
I think I would. I think I would just go with cats.
That would be perfect for you, Selena. Cats would be perfect.
Meow meow.
Okay, so now everyone's awake. Tiernan and Alexi, you're the global co-directors of Pride. Can you just share a little bit more around putting together Pride, what that looks like, what it actually entails at the moment in this world that we're living in?
Ooh, Miss Ma'am, hot dang, yes. Where to begin? I think what comes to mind first is Pride looked like a lot of heart this year. And like nothing I've ever experienced. I think, playing it back, the first pivot was, like mid-March, where we like get this notice like on internal like messaging emails from leadership that, we're staying home. And then it was like this TikTok waiting game to see what would happen like elsewhere around the world. And then Pride started getting canceled. I think actually London, UK was one of the first that we saw. And it was just kind of like playing this waiting game of, okay, what are we going to do? What's going to happen? How do we address this? So that was like the first thing. And then I think when we found out we really needed to actually move in a different direction, it was Petra. I believe we realized we needed to go digital, and Petra was like, how about a 24-hour live stream moment, accessible globally, and something we've never done. And I think that was the conversation, was the birth of where we are now. And I think, it's certainly the hits didn't stop coming then. It was 2 pivots in our launch date to be conscientious of what was happening real time. At Microsoft, we like to talk about a growth mindset. I have never learned more or gotten to apply that more. This was like the existential exercise in growth mindset at scale. And then that in addition to all of the hard work of, Fernando, you mentioned like hundreds of people around the world that it takes to put this together, on top of us all navigating this new space that none of us really are oriented to, or that we were learning through at scale. So yeah, I think that's what comes to mind for me in terms of building the building blocks this year. How about you, Alexi?
I would subscribe to everything you said. I think just a bit of a context. Pride as Microsoft is really driven by volunteers, what Tiernan and Fernando said. And Tiernan and I are part of the GLEAM. It's our LGBTQI+ allies and employees at Microsoft. It's a global organization, and we work with folks around the world. So working digitally is quite natural, but working digitally during the global pandemic, during the racial injustice, during all of the stress around us is a completely different affair altogether. And I think for me, as we were putting together this Pride, we looked at 2 key questions in our head: is what kind of change we can create in the world right now, and what can we do that will really help people out there? And then the second one is, how can we make it that it's easy to join, that people can enjoy it on their own terms, they interact in different ways with Pride, whether it's a sticker, whether it's a keyboard, whether it's this live stream, or it's a message, an email, whatever it is, that they can get a sense of that community and take actions for more equity and equality. And so Pride is crazy this year, but I feel, if anything, I feel we're the most open, we're the most embracing and most together, if ever.
Yeah, completely, definitely we are.
Thank you, guys. So Selena, Petra, Cody, you are the masterminds behind this amazing 24-hour event. Why are you doing it, and what drives you and hundreds of other volunteers to work during their weekends to pull it off?
Yeah, great question. This is my 3rd year volunteering on the Microsoft Pride campaign, and it's just always a really rewarding experience being involved with the community and meeting so many different and cool and just great people to work with. And I feel like when we come together, and even in this challenge of putting this digital event together, you really feel that sense of community on the calls we have to organize it all. And I think that really sparks people, and you really feel the love on those calls because of you're building something that's going to be really elevated. So I don't know, that's what motivates me anyways, is being able to bring this visibility of the campaign out to other people within Microsoft as well.
Thanks.
What about you, Petra?
I would add that I have encountered numerous stories of friends and also some family members that went to Pride in years gone by, and they saw people that were like them, that felt that sense of community, and it was huge in terms of affirmation and being able to help them along on their journey, wherever it may take them. And so playing a very small part of that and helping another generation, people I will never meet, that they say, hey, I saw you. And in fact, this happened to me last year. Somebody I met, they said, I saw you at Pride, and it gave me that push to say, yeah, this is what I needed to do. And they came out, and it was wonderful. And I met them a few months later, and they said, I have you to thank for this. And I thought, wow. So that part of it is nice to know that being out and being visible gives people that sense of empowerment.
What about you, Cody? Why do you do it?
Mainly just because Alexi, Selena, Tiernan, Petra called me up one day and they're like, hey, Cody, we really need help. All joking aside, that's part of the reason. The other reason is because Pride to me is this huge community. And my first Pride parade was actually with Microsoft when I had just come out of the closet. Well, a year after I came out of the closet. And it was my first way of interacting with the community and seeing what's out there. And what's kept bringing me back year after year doing this again and again and again is that Pride was really a great opportunity for me to go out and explore and figure out who I am and why I'm here. And being able to go and recreate that for the next generation or other people who are trying to find their way, that's really what keeps bringing me back again year after year after year. And also because Selena lets me pet her cats whenever we go do anything for Pride. Yeah.
So this year's theme, obviously, for Pride is the more we talk, the more we understand. Can you talk to us a little bit about how that theme actually came about? Tiernan, go on, you can go.
Yeah. I like to start this one with a turn of phrase that one of our marketing EVP likes to use: disagree and then commit. So my first reaction was like, wait a minute, when we're talking, how are we understanding because we're not listening? So I had a fundamental reaction to it. And then, as we went on and through the employee stories that we pulled into the conversation, and even the back and forth that Alexi and I have had to really just build on our journey and our working partnership, the concept landed for me by having conversations I wouldn't normally. I think most top of mind for me is about race, or as an intersecting, gotta say that slower, person of both Black and white identities, and just having that be very much at the forefront. And even learning that there's a part of my family that doesn't know anything about my experience as a Black presenting human. I was like, oh, that's why the more we talk, the more we understand. And it just really dropped in for me, in those conversations. So that it became really powerful. Yeah. Alexi, where'd it come from? I don't actually know.
I love that. Let me tell you all about it. So we run a Pride campaign every single year. And I think what Cody said and Petra said and Tiernan, the big part of it is sharing these stories to create empathy and share what people's experiences are around the world. Because when we share them, we see real change. There is this context theory that says if you interact with a person of a different background, and know them, you become more open and you become more embracing and more empathetic. And when we ran our campaign last year, which was all about actions, it was celebrating the 50th anniversary of Stonewall. And we felt it was really important to continue to push the progress forward. So as we were celebrating it and sending emails to our customers, showing it on Windows lock screen, we got a lot of feedback. A lot of it was positive. And people said, yes, I love that message. That's so important, Microsoft. Thank you for taking that. And thank you for marching with us. And the other people said, why do we keep talking about this community? I respect their rights, but they can do that in their homes. Or I have gay friends, I don't need to march. And there were tons of comments like this, and our community looked at them, and obviously some of them were very sad, and we were like, oh goodness, this is tough. But we then did what our community does the best, is that we took it all on, and we decided to address it in the campaign and not run away from these misconceptions, not run away from these misunderstandings, but actually talk about them. And the 9 employees that are bringing that campaign to life in our storytelling, they're doing exactly that. They're reacting to stories, to questions like, are you a man or a woman? Or why there are so many letters in LGBTQI+. Or everything that many of us hear every single day. And it's obviously an emotional toll for many of us to continue these conversations. But we felt, as we are sheltering in homes, as there is the world of racial injustice around us, the very easy and the very first step that all of us can take is just listen to other people, understand their perspectives, empathize with them, and then see what we can do to create more equity. And that's how the campaign this year came about. That's why it's the more we talk, the more we understand.
Thanks. And misconception is a word that's come up a few times already today. So what are the misconceptions that you guys usually see, and how do you typically react to them? Anyone?
I can start. Is as a trans woman, when people are curious about my journey or that of other trans folks, because of course I can speak for every trans person there is out there, is they define one's journey and one's validity by something that may be physical, as in a surgical procedure, and that's not the case. And it's very hard to, without necessarily giving away a lot more than I would care to help educate people. That's the challenge, is walking that fine line of saying, the experience of being trans is multifaceted and it varies by individual, and it's driven by that person. That person is the one that identifies and says, "This is me," and you can accept me or not accept me, but this is me as I am, and it's not defined by something that is external. It is not defined by a hospital visit or anything like that.
Thanks, Petra.
Yeah, I'd love to build on that, Petra, with a misconception that I've been thinking a lot about this year. Just that I feel like as a society, and this is just like my own personal realization, that we've been brought up and told that there's two genders, male and female. And really, what I've experienced, working on these Pride campaigns and being part of the community with you all, is that I just feel like we've been sold a construct that isn't true. I feel like, there's such a range between male and female, like 1 in 1,000 people are born intersex, for instance, and it's just a construct we've been sold and conditioned to believe. And the more I think about it lately, it's like, well, what if that wasn't the way we were brought up, when we were brought up thinking actually there's a big range of what people are? Then it wouldn't be such a huge thing to even, talk about and put people into boxes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to build on this a little bit, because what I'm thinking through a lot recently is like I'm exploring gender fluidity, and it's really much in the same kind of territory, Selena, is that there is no prescribed way to look a certain way or to be a certain way. And I think it's the most difficult to understand that these are the constructs and you grew up with them and you feel they are important. And then you see maybe a person in a TV show or a character in a video game and you suddenly realize, oh my goodness, like a whole different world is possible. And I think the common misconception it's my own misconception. It's like, hey, like this is the way it is. Or like, hey, this is how it should be done. And for me, it really encompasses the way I express gender and what it means to express gender. And I think that is what I'm working with. And it's also something I feel kind of touches on the topic you mentioned.
Yeah, I think, like you say, obviously we talk about the way in which we were brought up. I've got 2 young children, and ultimately, I want them to be happy at the end of the day. So however they decide to express themselves, however they feel that they fit into society, as a mother, as long as they're happy and they know that they're accepted, I think that's what's really important to me. So having those conversations as well whilst they're still young and letting them know that irrespective of who they feel they are, they don't have to hide away from that. I think that's really, really important. So again, whilst we're talking around misconceptions, one of the big misconceptions and criticisms actually for corporations is that they are rainbow washing social causes. Just yesterday, I saw a few tweets about that. So what would you say to that? Alexi, why don't you respond to that one first?
I think it's a very common misconception, like, hey, there is this corporate pride and then there is the real one. But actually the people who work on pride, many of them are allies, many of them are from the community, and we're doing it on top of our daily jobs with the hope to use the companies as a platform for good and a platform for change. So when I read through this, I really don't think that we should be making these delineations and saying this is right and this is wrong. There is the right way to do it. I feel everybody, wherever they are, whatever they do, if they're asking and demanding and acting for more equity and equality, that is positive. So that's how I respond to that.
Thank you, Alexi.
I steal that response and plus up it every time. Yeah, I mean, we are Pride. We are the driving force behind it, and our allies and everyone in the community. So I think if we can try to maybe get folks to rethink how they frame that and remember that we are the driving force, many, if not every time. I think that'd be what my ask would be for folks having that conversation.
Perfect, thanks.
Thanks. So I think it's evident that our community is quite diverse. And this year we're talking a lot about intersectionality and how our struggles are actually interwoven. So how do you approach this in this Pride campaign, this year's Pride campaign and event?
Selena, you want to pick that one up?
Yeah. I think intersectionality is so important, and it's we need to lift up communities where they need more visibility, and to have that intersectionality between LGBTQI+ movement and, say, Black Lives Matters, to support each other and lift up each other's voices. And that was very much woven into this year's campaign as global events unfolded, because it was a lot of people of color that helped to even start and kick off the Pride movement. So it's definitely an area that we wanted to lean into and make sure we recognized. Yeah. Tiernan?
Yeah, and I think when we started, when we paused a couple times in the campaign, we went to our employee storytellers too, and we said, hey, with what's going on, is there another statement you'd like to react to? And I think of Milton. I can't remember his quote off the top of mind, but he also kind of brought that into his storytelling within the campaign itself. And then, personally, I think I know I've never felt the weight of my personal intersecting identities as heavily as I ever have in my life. So I think that really played a role and was a driving force behind ensuring that we expanded our contribution base too, to include a racial justice equity corporation within the NGOs we're supporting, which is Know Your Rights Camp. Yeah.
Petra, what about you?
I feel the same way. I mean, I have some of my own intersectionality as being an immigrant, being a parent, being queer, being trans. And so I think there's something to be said for feeling part of a marginalized community and therefore being able to show greater empathy with others. I was personally kind of conflicted at the beginning of this month with everything going on in our community. And at a greater level, and then saying, hey, it's Pride, we need to celebrate. But, there's people expressing their legitimate feelings of anger and frustration. So I kind of, repointed in that way. And as Tiernan pointed out, I was really happy that we incorporated some of the aspects of equality. It was one of those revectors that we did along the way. And it made me feel happier that we were responsive, we were agile and sensitive to the greater community, not just saying, well, you guys may be protesting in the streets, but we're going to wave some rainbow flags. Yes, I'm happy with the way that turned out in that respect.
Yeah, I think, if we look back, the situation that we're all in at the moment with coronavirus and obviously everything that's happened with the Black Lives Matter campaign, and us being here now digitally and not actually being out on the streets and not being able to connect physically with one another. I think when we look back at Pride for 2020, whether it's your first Pride now or whether it's your 50th Pride, I still think that this is going to be one of the Prides that'll be a turning point, and we'll all remember where we were in 2020 when we were kind of having this Pride conversation. So aside from the way in which we wanted to showcase ourselves externally, we've decided that obviously we want to be able to kind of support individuals through the products. But obviously a lot of the concern then comes from, how do we showcase that support? How do we actually be visible whilst at the same time not necessarily profiting for those courses? So how do we actually approach this turn, and so that it wasn't something that we said, actually, we're going to support Pride and it's about the money? Come on,
I'll take that. I think what the biggest thing was ensuring we were contributing and donating back, which is why we were able to amp our donation and contribution for the campaign to 250,000 USD, our biggest contribution to communities ever this year. So I think that was a really key way in which we think about balancing those two pieces, and one, bringing visibility with the product, but then matching it, put our words where, walk the talk too, and really give at the same time.
Now, how does one come up with a Pride product design? How do we go about that?
I think that's a great question, and it touches at the heart of the campaign, which is intersectionality, which is bringing visibility to the communities that are often overlooked, neglected, or marginalized. And it's also taking a really broad view on what LGBTQI+ communities are. And these are communities across gender identity, across sexual orientation, across gender expression, across the romantic spectrum. And it was really important for us to embrace that diversity and bring it all to life. And that's why we've taken a few design cues. The first one, we'll look at the different flags of the different communities within LGBTQI+ spectrum, and we embraced those flags, and we brought them to Surface, to Xbox, to Windows, to Teams, to many different products, with the hope that when folks see those flags, they feel seen, they see that there is this global company, and you see your identity represented there, and it might mean something important for people. And quite frankly, we've already seen tweets from folks who are saying, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm seeing the demisexual flag in there. I've never seen it anywhere. And people obviously cry, they react positively, because it's an affirmation to the extent that is not imaginable before. And another big part for us in products is to be truthful. There is this saying in disability community, nothing about us without us. And it's the same truth for the LGBTQI+ community as well. So we work with the queer designers, we work with the straight designers and our allies in the company as well. But these products are designed with the community, by the community, for the community, and for the allies. And we're being very intentional in how they look, how they come to market, how we talk about them. And what Tiernan said is really the key principle for us. We're not doing it to put gold in our coffers. We're not making billions on them. We're not saying, hey, like, let's get money off every single stripe in the rainbow. This is not about it. We are donating far more than all of the proceeds we are making, and we're really making those products for visibility and to drive these conversations, quite frankly.
Alex, some of those designs are just strikingly beautiful. I mean, yeah, go check them out.
Yeah, on that note, I want to say back out to the audience and everybody, if you are and you want to get involved, then post the flag, post your flag that's most representative to you, post it on the social channels, post it in the chat, and let us see actually how you're representing Pride, because that's one of the things that we really want to see from our side. We've put a lot of effort into this. We want to be able to support, but we also want to be able to see how that's then impacting you as well. Cody, I'm going to bring this one to you because you've been a little bit quiet. So you're the driving force behind the internal events for Pride, especially this year. Now, whether that's because Petra and Selena and the team have dragged you into that, or whether that's something that you actually really want to kind of deliver, how would you say that it's changed? Like, how would you say the way in which we delivered this has changed? And also internally, what's the best way inside a corporation to be able to celebrate something like Pride?
So the funny story is that this actually changed quite a few times. Originally, we like settled on one plan, and then we're like, wait, no, we're going digital. So we settled on another, and then they're like, wait, no, that sounds like it fits better here, and then we switched tact again. And so it's changed several times over and over, and finally we settled on this like digital medium of Minecraft for the kickoff event, and then Petra and Selena did a wonderful job in bringing together this beautiful 24-hour live stream. And so that's kind of how it changed from going from our normal, like, let's go on campus and like, let's do this huge like kickoff event and there's got to be food and booths, to this more like, hey, let's go and educate our audience. Let's talk about these issues instead of just being like, oh yeah, like, let's just go for the free food and whatnot. And on a similar note of like, how can we continue to celebrate these types of events in this like new digital era that we're in? One of the huge ones that I'd suggest is to go and start hosting stuff digitally. Like Minecraft provides a wonderful platform, and Alexi's probably like snickering because he would have never thought that I would have said that, but Minecraft is a wonderful platform for you to go and host stuff on, for you to go and build, like how we did with the kickoff, build a stage, go out and have like people walk out on stage as their camera's up. Another thing too that I've picked up from my Twitter feed is hosting stuff on Animal Crossing. For those of you who have seen that, it's a wonderful game with a ton of cute characters, and I've seen quite a few people hosting similar events on that platform, and it's one of the like funniest and cutest things I've seen. Anyways, side tangent over. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Tina, Alexi, Petra, Selena. Amazing answers, great energy, great effort. Hopefully everyone will see that's gone into this event today. And hopefully we've now set the tone for what's coming up over the next 24 hours. So stay with us. We're going to move over now to the next segment. So bye, everyone. Thank you for joining today.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of the show.